YouTube Ozick going the Go Nows is back, ranking every single NFL offense from 32 to 1 for the upcoming 2023 season. Have all kinds of rankings, player rankings, unit rankings on the channel. Now we're finally on to those offenses. Next video will be defenses. So excited about this. Make sure you like, subscribe to notifications on. Full NFL coverage on the way for the 2023 season. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. That's very important. Links pinned in the comments for our social media accounts and our sponsors, Liquid IV. Code GOAT, 20% off. Code GOAT on GLD shop as well. Offenses ranked from 32 to 1 for this upcoming season. Buccaneers at 32. Last year they struggled and they had Tom Brady. So now you got what we think will be Baker Mayfield. Worst offensive line. And decent weapons, actually. I just don't expect them to produce that much. The Colts at 31. They could have weeks where they're pretty deadly on the ground. Well, I guess if Jonathan Taylor's in there, but still, with Anthony Richardson and his legs, they could be deadly. They could, early in the season too, they could be hard to game plan for. Offense could look better than it actually is early in the season because of that, but they'll struggle through the air this year. It's okay if Richardson struggles through the air. It's going to be a surprise if he's very good through the air right away. So we'll see. But I got them at 31. The Cardinals at 30. And this is kind of factoring in that we think Kyler Murray could play a portion of this season. If he wasn't playing at all during the season, I'd probably put them at 32. There's a chance he doesn't play at all. There's a chance they kind of hang it up like, hey, let's make sure he's 110% healthy, 120, and not focus on this season too much. Panthers at 29. Bryce Young he's a good prospect, could have a good rookie year, could have his hiccups though, obviously. Offensive line looks pretty good on paper. It's got to produce, though. In the receivers, they've added multiple guys to replace DJ Moore, but there's no guy that's going to consistently take over every single week. So I think they can be a little inconsistent. I think some weeks they can put up big points, Bryce Young, and we can see some Bama Bryce Young out there. And there's some weeks where, maybe, some inconsistencies. Maybe they struggle a little bit. Guys aren't getting enough separation. They're not dominant on the ground. They should be decent on the ground. So maybe some inconsistencies. Maybe not enough juice right now. Not enough superstar power. Big, star power. You don't have to be a superstar. But so I have them at 29. Broncos at 28. They were at the very bottom last year. Not too much of a difference. Sean Payton should help them. I don't expect. I expect Russ to be a little bit better. You can't really expect them to be a whole lot better. Offensive line should be a little better. The ground game should be solid. They could win on the ground there, but I just don't expect a whole lot of creativity, a whole lot of, dominance through the air. Texans at 27. I think they'll be physical on the ground, similar to the Broncos. I think they'll be physical on the ground. I think Stroud could surprise some people a little bit. Will have his growing pains. Offensive line is better than you think there as well. Them at 27. 26, Tennessee Titans, which adding DeAndre Hopkins wasn't that recent, but when they did, that kind of helped them because they would have been ranked lower because the receiver unit looked like the worst in football. But Hopkins, Burks doesn't look that bad at all. And they still have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is going to be dominant on the ground, so that keeps them from being at the very bottom. Commanders, the question is Sam Howell. Also, the question is their offensive line. I think Sam Howell could have ups and downs. He can have some really good moments. Eric Bieniemy's offense could get creative and could throw off opposing defenses. Because they definitely do have weapons out there. So Howell could surprise people. The Rams at 24, they could be explosive through the air with Stafford and Cooper Kupp, the weapons they have, and McVay calling plays. Offensive line should be better than last year, but how healthy will it be? Will there be much of a run game? How many games will Stafford play? But going into week one, they actually could be an explosive offense if they're fully healthy. Packers at 23 should have a really good run game. A lot of it is on Jordan Love. How will he be? I think a lot of small ball, and they'll probably try to unleash something deep downfield here and there. That kind of be their game plan. Open up the deep ball there. Open up the pass. They'll be at 23. Patriots at 22. They were worse than this last year, but they bring Bill O'Brien in, and that should definitely help. Should help Mac Jones. It should help the passing game. Some questions about the receivers from training camp, though. Similar with the Packers, some questions there. But the running game should be pretty solid. Ramondre Stevenson and now Zeke. So I got the Patriots at 22. Bill O'Brien helps them. Steelers at 21. There's weeks where they're a little slow. They're, game management offense, run the clock, small ball, run the clock. But Pickett got better as the year went on last year. Could continue to happen this year. Run game should be better. With the changes they're making, adding Broderick Jones to the offensive line, things like that. Receivers are very solid. It could be like a boring offense some weeks. Could be pretty deadly other weeks. Could do a good job managing the clock and win the game because of that. Next group of teams, Falcons at 20. Falcons are tough to rank because you look at their passing game. I know they have good options, Pitts, London, etc. But yeah, what we get from Ridder, we might get a kind of small ball, a lot of play action. Ridder could struggle some weeks. It's hard to see him being very good. So the passing game could be worse than 20, but you say, how are they top 20? The running game should be pretty damn strong, like one of the better ones in football. It is a passing league, so that is more important, but the running game, again, should be very, very strong. Good offensive line, Bijan Robinson, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier. Bears at 19. Yeah, Bears could be inconsistent too. 1 week scoring an insane amount of points. 1 week pretty underwhelming. But the passing game's kind of the big question. But the offensive line's better, the weapons are better, and at the end of the day, if they're not doing a whole lot in the passing game, Fields should be able to run still, so they should be able to put up some points. Maybe they'll have some turnovers. Maybe they'll be, again, a little inconsistent through the air, but they should be able to be explosive with the ball. Giants at 18. Pretty impressive last year, first year under Brian Daboll, and should have a running game, should have somewhat of passing game. Receivers got to be better. They should be this year. Raiders at 17. Yeah, I think they'll be effective on the ground and through the air. How much Jimmy Garoppolo will we get this year? Will he be good enough that, as well? But the main part is him. How much will we get? How healthy will he be? But if Josh Jacobs is out there, they'll be able to run the ball. Garoppolo should be able to get guys like Adams, Myers, and Mayer the ball, a decent amount. Saints at 16, they had Derek Carr, so that should boost their offense a bit. They'll be without Kamara for just a little bit, but they should be effective through the air on the ground as well. Lions at 15, statistically pretty impressive last year. They have a good running back duo. They have a good offensive line. Weapons are solid. Jameis Williams being suspended are pretty tough. But it's really on Jared Goff. And I keep going, but when I talk about the Lions, I always talk about Jared Goff. Is he going to be the same as last year? Is he going to be better than last year? Is he going to be a little bit worse? What I'm looking for, second most, the quarterback that's seen the second most man coverage last year. I keep bringing up that stat. I think teams didn't really know how to game plan for that offense. It kind of felt new. Ben Johnson, who did a really good job. I can guarantee he's going to see more zone this year. Zone creates turnovers, in the NFL against, quarterbacks that aren't the best, like the best of the best. So it's Goff will be all right. Where will he be at, though? So that's the question with the Lions, but they got better and better as the year went on. They're pretty explosive. I love the running back duo, hearing good things about that group. I love the offensive line, so they make the top 15. The Dolphins at 14. Beginning of last year looked like one of the top-tier elite offenses in football, like super explosive. They can do whatever they want, super fast, ridiculous. Then they got injured. Then, when they got healthier, they were better than when they were injured, but they were really nowhere near the same as the beginning of the year. I thought, maybe Tua wasn't quite the same, but I thought mainly was that there was more of a game plan for Mike McDaniel's offense. He wants to pass the ball a lot more than he runs the ball. I thought there was a little bit more of a game plan idea, and we see that all the time as the year goes on for defenses. So which Dolphins are we going to get? Is Tua going to be healthy? They'll be fast. They'll be explosive. I would like for them to focus on the run a little bit more when it's working. You don't have to be a run-first team. You do not have to be a run-first team. But I would like them to not abandon it, especially when it's working. I think they could be better. So eyes on Tua's health, eyes on McDaniel, and then opposing defenses. I think they had much better game plans for the Dolphins at the end of last year. Browns at 13. Yeah, eyes on Watson and Stefanski, I think. Watson, will he be better than he was at the end of last year? I can pretty much guarantee. I can't fully guarantee, but pretty much guarantee he'll be better than at the end of last year. More time to prepare with his team. He's got the talent in him. They'll have a strong running game. They have a strong offensive line. Stefanski's got to be a better play caller, but at the end of the day, they should be one of the very best running teams in football, and that should open up the pass and playmaking ability of Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to be a little higher on the Browns than most people. Seahawks at 12. They were very explosive last year. Geno throwing the ball, and they have a monster trio, receiver trio, and they have a pretty damn good running back duo as well. So they should be pretty evenly effective on the ground through the air. They should be explosive. I expect Geno Smith to, at worst, stay the same, but we will see. 49ers at 11, we always know they're explosive. They out-physical you on the ground. Usually a top 10 offense. My issue is the quarterback position. They are confident with Purdy. Darnold looking pretty solid, but Purdy coming back from that injury, and if Darnold has to play, he's not the best quarterback in the world. I can probably guarantee if he plays, it's probably the best he's going to be. He's looked anywhere else because it's the 49ers, but still not the greatest quarterback in the world. So I guess the most important position is what's stopping them from being top 10, even though they're always deadly, they're always explosive. Next group of teams, Minnesota Vikings at number 10. They were probably better than 10 last year. There's just so many good ones. That's tough. But I think the Jags are on the rise, teams like that on the rise. The Jets, who we'll talk about. But the Vikings, no more Dalvin Cook, but they were more of a past-first team last year, very explosive of the air. We know what we're going to get from Kirk Cousins. We know what we're going to get. Second year, Kevin O'Connell's offense, which is insane amount of motion, which is really difficult for defenses to game plan for and play against. They have the best receiver in football, Justin Jefferson. T.J. Hockenson, one of the best tight ends. Jordan Addison. They got weapons. I think we know what we're going to get from the Vikings. They're going to be pretty explosive. They're going to be solid. They're not going to be the best, but they're kind of up there. Ravens at 9. All about staying healthy. If you can guarantee me they stay healthy all year, I'd probably rank them better than 9. But Lamar Jackson, we know he's going to be deadly on the ground. We know he's going to be solid through the air. Can he be better? I think he could. Todd Monken's offense, a better playbook than Greg Roman. It's still up in the air. Will he be a better play caller? We'd like to think so, most likely. But what I think I know is that he has a better playbook. That should help, obviously, and should help get spread the ball to different targets, including Mark Andrews, which should be the main feature there. So I'll put the Ravens at 9, the Jags at 8, who are only getting better. Trevor Lawrence, massive step up last year, another step up this year, perhaps. ETN's very explosive. They had Tank Bigsby in there. The receivers, they had Calvin Ridley on top of Christian Kirk, who's already improving, Evan Engram. So offensive line maybe a little bit of a question, but explosive and led by Doug Peterson there. The Chargers, very explosive, adding Kellen Moore, who's led a very, very good offense, and the Cowboys statistically good. That should help by having Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, solid offensive line when healthy, and then weapons position should definitely help, so they'll be explosive in there at 7. 6, Dallas Cowboys. Kellen Moore was good for them. He goes to the Chargers, who we just talked about, but they're tweaking things a little bit. It might be, and they're already explosive on offense, but that might make it a little tougher game plan for opposing defenses. Dax can be productive, does have to limit the turnovers. Tony Pollard should have his best year of his career. They had Brandon Cooks. That is huge. More options, spread the ball out more to worry about. I like their offensive line a lot as well. I like that. It's always been good, but I like the depth, the versatility that should help them if anybody goes down. But overall, we know we're going to another team. We know we're going to get from the Cowboys. We know in the regular season, we know we're going to get from the Cowboys. And then on to the top 5, you got the Jets at 5, which is a massive leap. Well, if you get Aaron Rodgers, that'll give you a massive leap. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the same as he always was? Can't guarantee that, but pretty confident he's going to be pretty good. And then you got the running game, Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, ridiculous. It's going to be mainly Cook early on. I think we'll see more and more of Breece Hall as the year goes on. They both can catch the ball at a fantastic level. Outside zone type offense. They fit it so well. And then the weapons at receiver led by Garrett Wilson. They got multiple tight ends. Question is the offensive line, which if it stays healthy, I think it could be pretty solid. But there is some worry. Elijah Vera Tucker, his health situation. Dwayne Brown not quite ready yet. Mekhi Becton, Max Mitchell. Some of these are questions. I think if the interior is healthy, I think the interior is actually strong. I would consider it strong. So some questions there, but they should be able to beat you with the pass or the run. I think the run's always going to be there. So I like that the Jets are so explosive. They got playmakers everywhere. Eagles at 4, tricky to game plan for. Maybe a little bit more of a game plan out there after that year last year, which was kind of fresh. But still going to be deadly. Hurts can beat you through the air on the ground. The running game, running backs actually could be even. The running game could actually be better from the running backs because you have a kind of a committee there, a group of guys. I mean, Gainwell started to heat up, so he's part of it. But you have DeAndre Swift, who could be deadly in that Eagles offense if he's healthy, and Penny. I guess the question is these guys got to stay healthy because all of them we look at, well, mainly the last 2 I named. Bills at 3. Probably the most intriguing team. You maybe say the Jets because they got a new quarterback, but I look a little deeper in that. The Buffalo Bills, to me, are the most intriguing team towards the top here. Maybe you can say the Ravens because how will this new Todd Monken offense look? But I look at the Bills because they're always an explosive offense, but they've always ran the least amount of 12 personnel, which features 2 tight ends, as a two tight end set, I should say. And we're gonna see a lot of that. At least they're gonna try it. They draft Dalton Kincaid in the first round for a reason. They're gonna use Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. So they're trying to stay good. Stay with what they know, but add some things to their playbook and throw off defenses because the time comes where you can, game plan a little better and better, opposing defenses for those offenses. So they're talented no matter what because the players they have, but they're adding more to their playbook. They're going to give different looks, so that should throw off defenses. Maybe it's not exactly the same Bills. Like, we know there's talent out there, but I guess there's that scenario where maybe this offense, this team is not meant to run those things. Maybe it's just not, maybe it's just not going to work, and they have a little bit of a struggle trying things out and, trial and error, and maybe they have to go back to what they know and love a little bit more. So I guess there could be a backfire scenario. I think they're going to be good either way. I think they're going to add more to their playbook. I think they're going to throw defenses off. I'm confident with them, and I got them in the top 3. I got the Bengals at 2. As long as Joe Burrow's healthy, but the receiver is ridiculous. I think Jamar Chase is only getting better. And then I think Mixon will be better this year. I think the running game, I should say, will be better. They did lose P. Ryan, but look at the offense line. It's the main thing. Offense line's been bad. It was a tiny bit better last year than the year before, but people saw what they added in free agency last year, and they're like, oh, there we go, it's fixed. And I try to tell them, like, nope, slow down a little bit, and it really wasn't fixed yet, but another year with those additions, and then now this year with Orlando Brown Jr. is a very solid left tackle, both pass protecting, but mainly run blocking. Run blocking has been atrocious, should open things up. Again, kind of going back to the running game should be better, but also should just help protect Burrow more. So this team's only getting better, and the play calling, the playbook only got stronger as the year went on. Deadly team at the end of the year in the postseason. So I got high hopes for the Bengals as long as Joe Burrow is healthy. So I got them at 2. And you have to go Chiefs at 1. I know no more Juju, so I guess that's somewhat tough, but somebody will step up. They get creative. And the running game could be even better. Offensive line is one of the very best in football. I'd say the second best. Very complete. You got the best player in football in Patrick Mahomes, who just continues to find new tricks, and you have one of the very best players and the very best player at his position in Travis Kelce, at the tight end position. So we're pretty confident the Chiefs will be the best on offense, but I think some of these other teams could definitely catch them. So I'm really excited about this year to watch these offenses. There's always that surprise team, sort of. We kind of always have an idea who will be up there, but Bills, Jets. Maybe the Chargers with Kellen Moore, but the Ravens with Todd Monken. These are the offenses that, I'm really curious. I'm really excited to watch here for this year. So those are my rankings. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the offensive rankings. We're going to rank defenses in the very next video, which will probably be tomorrow. We will see. But excited about that. A little bit different teams, some of the same teams towards the top. But that's going to do it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.